Hello and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is Amir Ismail, your host from Toronto, Canada. I am an authorized citizenship and immigration advisor based out of Toronto, and I've been associated with the immigration industry for the last 30 years. As usual, we would be sharing with you some immigration updates that have been happening in Canadian immigration. And we'll be also talking about the express entry draws that everyone has been anticipating, and those draws that have not been happening for quite some time. Although there have been few draws, but these draws have always been targeted toward the PNP or Canada Experience Class applicants so far. But we are hoping that soon things are gonna be streamlining in terms of the management of coronavirus, due to which the Canadian borders are still closed, and there is a travel restriction in place. We are hoping that this is going to be streamlined, as I said earlier, very, very soon, because of the availability of the vaccine in this country and the way things are going. We are hoping that everyone in Canada is going to have at least the first shot of vaccine in the month of June. That's what the government is telling us. Of course, we have to see what happens, but they are also saying that by September, everyone is going to have the second shot as well. So we'll see how things roll out, but this is actually directly related to immigration, because the flow of immigrants can only be normalized when vaccination has been completed in Canada. And so is the case with the invitations for immigration. So while Canadian government is processing applications, also issuing the notification that they have approved applicants in principle, but we can see that there has been delays in terms of issuance of visas, and the delays are expected to continue for next few more months. The important news that I wanted to discuss with you was the National Day of Observance for COVID-19 that Canadian government observed on 11th of March. Because it marked 1 year when WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic. And Canada, of course, honored every individual who lost their life to this disease and recognized that all who have been impacted by the pandemic are not forgotten. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, also recognized in one of his speeches more than 22,000 Canadian families who have lost a loved one, and many people who have lost their jobs, excuse me, and businesses, and healthcare and frontline workers who have faced great risk and challenges, and all Canadians who have made sacrifices to keep others safe and healthy. So since the first case of the virus was diagnosed in January, January 2020, close to 850,000 Canadians have now recovered from this terrible disease. And to date, more than, as we all know, 2.6 million people have died globally from COVID-19, including 22,000 Canadians. So we as Canadians, we reaffirm that it is our commitment to work as a Team Canada, to beat this virus. And to that effect, measures are in place. The travel restrictions are in place, and the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, also floated recently the idea of requiring proof of vaccine for international travelers. But of course, this is being worked out because there is a possibility of discrimination against those who do not want to vaccinate. So this is going to be looked into. Another update was the express entry draw that happened recently. It was the PNP draw. So it only selected people who have been nominated by the provincial nominee programs. There were somewhere around 600 people nominated, and the CRS score was somewhere around 700 plus. But we know that people who have a provincial nomination, they get 600 extra points. So you can imagine that the actual CRS of these people were actually very low. Recent provincial draws that have happened, they are continuing to happen. Saskatchewan, Manitoba, British Columbia, Ontario, you name it. All the provinces are actively nominating people or inviting them to apply for provincial nomination, and the federal government is keeping on inviting them for permanent residence in Canada. Today we are going to be joined by one of my colleagues, Besma from Toronto, and she would be discussing with us the composition of the express entry pool. It is very important for us to see as to how many people are there in the express entry pool as candidates for permanent residence. And we are also going to discuss the range of the ranking score in which these individuals lie. For example, we need to see how many people are in waiting for the score range 460 to 470, because we have seen that in recent times the ranking score has been or the pass rank has been hovering around 470 or so. So people who have been waiting or who are intending to apply, at least knowing about the composition of the pool, they can determine as to how much are their chances of getting selected, or when can they get selected. So we're going to discuss this. Let me very quickly acknowledge people who have joined us today very kindly, and you can feel free to post your questions and we'll try to answer them as much as we can. And if those who we would not be able to answer, we can attend your questions later on through our emails. Let's see. We have Muin Ahmed Butt joining us. Welcome. Muhammad Amar is with us. Hi, Muhammad. How are you doing? Yes, Lauddin is also here with us. Thank you very much for joining us again. Mohsin Sattar is with us. Okay, so you are asking for the shortcut to reach Canada. There are only one way, and that is the way defined by the Canadian government. There are different categories, and we'll be able to help you with this if you're qualifying. Hamid Rozdar is with us today. Welcome. Shah Alam is with us. Hello. And Tariq Ali is with us today as well. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Let me invite my colleague Besma, who would be discussing with us the composition of the pool with us, and we'll then take your questions accordingly, okay?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you a happy Saturday. So today I will do a short presentation on the composition of the express entry pool as of today. And if you have any question, please feel free to stop me and ask it so we can all learn together. And if I get your permission, Mr. Amir, I can start my presentation now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
Perfect. My presentation is right here.
Yeah, it went blank actually right now.
Oh.
Yeah, it went white.
Okay. What about now? Nothing?
Nope.
Okay. Let's do that again.
Sure.
Okay. Let's share it. Okay, and picking application window, right?
That's right. Yes. You can pick the application window.
Perfect. Do you see it now?
Yes. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so first of all, thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Amir. And like I said, today we are doing a short presentation on the express entry pool composition and also different categories or ranges. So first of all, let's start by introducing or defining what's express entry system. So the express entry system is an online system that was launched on January 1st, 2015, just to replace the old system, that was first come, first serve. And this one is more efficient to just select the appropriate candidates to come in Canada. So this is Canada's application management system for skilled workers or the economic immigration programs. So that means it includes the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, the Canadian Experience Class, and also PMP candidates. So the express entry system, it's there. The goal of it is just to facilitate the selection of individuals who are most likely to set up and contribute in Canada successfully. It means it's a pre-selection system. It will allow to the right candidates to come to Canada and become permanent residents, and their duty is just to economically be established in Canada and participate positively in the Canadian society. So this express entry system, is based on the comprehensive ranking system. It's a point system. It's the backbone of this system, and it's composed of two parts. The first one is the core points part, and the second one is the additional points part. So the first one is just a link to the factors that are related to the age, education, language. For the age, the younger the better. Education, the higher is better. And language, you need to score what's required for the category that you are interested in. And you also have the additional points that are related to your adaptability and how successful you will be in Canada. So having said that, the maximum Crs score a candidate can get is capped to 1,200 points, 600 points for the core points, and 600 points as a maximum for the additional points. Okay. So the composition of our express entry pool as of March 8th. So if you go to canada.ca, you will find the numbers there. So the total as of today is 147,688 candidates.
Yeah, excuse me, can you see your screen is actually not moving? So the slides is stuck at introduction, so maybe the audience are not being able to see the slides.
Okay, so I stopped at the end at this slide. What if I do this? Do you see the new slide?
No, I think you can just click on the slides right on the left-hand side. Right now, the slide number 2 is clicked, so maybe you can go to slide number 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So do you see the new slides now, or it's still freezing?
Yes, still freezing.
Oh.
I was wondering.
Okay.
So maybe
I can do it this way.
Yeah, this is working. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
This is working.
Okay. Can you see it now? Do you see the new slide? Okay, so this is the third slide. Okay, and I stopped at the composition of the express entry pool. So if, like I said, if you go to canada.ca, you will see the numbers there. So as of today, we have a total of 147,688 candidates waiting to be selected. And the number of invitations for this round is 671 for PMP candidates as of March 8th. And if you see the table here, we have 6 major Crs score ranges. And so the maximum, like I said, is $1,200, and the minimum is 0. If any case, Canada will require to hire anyone like with 0 points. So if we go to the next one. So now today we are studying the CSR range of 450 to 469 points. So if you see the composition of this range, so it has in total 18,299 candidates, which represents 12.39 of the total pool of 147,688. And it has two distinct ranges. The first one is 451 to 460 points with 9,319 candidates. And the second one is from 461 to 470 points with 8,980 candidates. So as of today, of course.
Right. So your screen is still at 4.
Oh my God.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it
Yeah,
manually.
this is the one. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what you talked about, right? So 450 to 460, and we can see that this is actually the 12.39% of the total pool at the moment. So there are a lot of people between 450 and 469 there.
Yes, so it represents 12.39 of the total candidates from 0 to 1,200 points.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So maybe if I stop screening, sharing my screen fully, I can just change like that.
Like this.
Yeah, maybe it will be more practical.
Sure.
Okay, so like I said, we are focusing on this CSR range from 450 to 469 or 470 points as a maximum. So just to answer a question, when can I get selected or invited if I belong to this range? So to answer your question, we need to make three assumptions. So the first one is that the pool size remains the same, which means we won't be accepting any new profile or any new application. The second assumption is that we are taking 5,000 invitations per round, and we will be receiving MIs or a ministerial instruction to do one round every 2 weeks. So if we respect these three assumptions, you will be noticing that our range from 451 to 470 won't be selected on March 8th. And that was the case. Why? Because the majority would be selected from higher scores. So from 471 up to 1,200 points. But starting from March 22nd, we will be seeing some invitations or letters to apply, invitations to apply, sorry, and 1,421 candidates will be called from our rank orange. And the concerned people are of the account of 1,421. Then on April 5th, April 19th, and May 3rd, we will be selected equally to 5,000 candidates, and the remaining candidates will be invited on May 17th. And they will be invited, the number of the person will be invited is 1,878 candidates.
So let me just interrupt you, Resma.
Yeah.
Now, it is a very good assumption, and it actually provide the basis of our understanding. But since we are assuming that the pool size remains same, which is practically not possible because we see that every day, every week, thousands of people apply. So that is one factor. And the second factor is the government's decision as to when should they allow people to come in this country, because their focus has been to select people who are already here. That's why we are seeing CEC and PNP candidates. So what I'm trying to say is that according to this assumption, which is the ideal situation, that the pool size happens, and the third factor that the draws also happen every 2 weeks, which is, of course, we can't determine if the draw is indeed going to happen in 2 weeks' time. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes they conduct draws quickly, like back to back. So if we take these points into consideration, according to this assumption, we can see that it will be stretched to 17th of May for people who are between 450 to 470. But in practicality, we are looking at somewhere around toward the end of the year, if these people are going to be selected or not, provided the number of people who are applying, they remain on a lower side, and especially people who are applying, their ranking score remains in the vicinity of, say, 450 or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is just in real life, the majority, like let's say that the new applicants or the new profiles can get like higher scores. So this will delay, of course, the selection of our candidates in the range of 451 to 470, especially if we like every day we are getting profiles or new profiles who are like ranked in the higher ranges.
Sure.
Okay, so if our three assumptions are respected, which is ideal, we can conclude that our candidates will be start getting invitations from March 22nd, and it will take 5 rounds to fully select them. So at round 1, which happened on March 8th, it was at 0%, and the majority was from the PMP candidates. At round 2, which is March 22nd, we will be selecting 7.7% of our range, and then equally 27.3% on round 3, round 4, and round 5. And the remaining candidates will receive the invitation to apply just after May 17th, and they will represent 10.2% of our total range.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, that's a wonderful presentation. It's one of a kind because we have had a few presentations in the past, but this is the first time we've had the opportunity of looking at an assumption-based scenario. And that actually has given, at least it has given me a very good perspective as to what and how should I counsel my clients whenever they ask me the question. The simple answer to their question, when am I going to be selected? The simple answer is, I don't know, because
Yeah.
I don't know
So
as
yeah.
to when the express entry draws are going to happen, and what kind of composition. At least we can look into the composition of the pool and see, and now we can determine as to when these people could be expected to get selected. So
Awesome.
wonderful presentation, Basma. Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Amir. And as immigration consultant, we are always waiting to hear from the minister and receive MIs just to decide when is the next round, what will the number be, etc. So it's never like precise to answer to a client's question directly, like we don't have the exact numbers, the exact dates. What we can do is just help with the procedure and give them hope, and after that, it's like you said, there is like ideal scenario and the real life sanario.
Exactly. Okay, let's acknowledge a few more people before we call off our meeting. We have Bahar Ali is also joining us. Muhammad Mateen is joining us from LinkedIn. So let's take some questions. I can see a couple of questions right now, and I can answer that. We have Taha Salim asking, kindly send and discuss the details of Canada Immigration streams like SINP, ONIP, and program. So if you're asking about your eligibility in these programs, you can always get in touch with our office. Otherwise, if you are looking for information on these programs, every program and every province have their own website where they provide information about their streams. You can read about those. But if you would like to ensure and would like to discuss your prospects, we have our assessment form on our website. It's a free assessment. You can complete it. One of our staff members will get in touch with you and arrange your consultation with us, and we'll discuss your eligibility with you. Okay. Muhammad Amar is asking, is there any PNP for pharmacists? Not that I know of, Amar. Not that I remember over the top of my head. Usually, regulated occupations, they are not part of the PNP because the provincial nominee program, they usually are targeting applicants who are who do not require a license right away to practice. There could be some occupation that require licenses, and the provinces expect you to get that license before applying, or at least do some or take some steps in order to qualify for license, so that the province can see if they allow you, if they nominate you, and when you come here, you will be able to secure that license, right? So you'll have to do a little bit of research, but if you want to get in touch with our team, we'll be able to help you and find out if there is any program that is that is available.
Sorry, Mr. Amir, to interrupt, but if I can share my experience as a pharmacist. So
Yes, please,
I came
you're
to
the best
Canada as,
person to say.
so I came to Canada as a pharmacist immigrant, and unfortunately, there is no PMP program for pharmacists. So we have a few medical fields or occupations that can invite you. So the province can invite you, but unfortunately, pharmacy is not among them. So what you need to do once you come to Canada, you need to follow a program of studies. It's a short program. It can take, for example, in Ontario, it will take you 18 months. Then you will be passing the licensing exam. After that, you can be you can practice as a pharmacist in Canada. But if you just send your profile to a province asking if they will accept you as a pharmacist, the answer will be no, unfortunately.
Oh, very, very good feedback, Vesma. And it was very timely. Like, you picked that up. Being a pharmacist yourself will be helpful. Let's take another question. It's from Kamran Shazad Khan. He's asking, license NOC such as 21731. So I'll stop you right there. There is no license NOC as such. There is no term. And if you're saying 2173 is an occupation that requires a license, that's not true. IT professionals, they do not require a license. It is recommended. Sometimes, you need to, it's always good to have licensing or accreditation from the professional bodies in the field. But let's see what your question is. Has requirement to either get a license from APEGS or CIPS? How to pinpoint which one is required among them for the one having BS in software engineering, however, having majority of recent experience as software engineer? Also, is it better to start processing the license after the initial EOI or EE submission, or wait for the ITA to come? Okay, so you really need to get in touch with our team for this. A lot of questions. So yeah, they can guide you. Otherwise, read through the text thoroughly, because the details is the information is always between the lines and in details. Go through everything. But I can answer this question, that for the purpose of Canadian immigration under the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you are not required to secure licenses if you are working in a regulated occupation. For example, a doctor or pharmacist who applies under the Federal Skilled Worker Program, they would be considered, they will be allowed to come to Canada as a permanent resident. The only thing is that they'll not be allowed to practice in their profession unless they fulfill the requirement of the licensing body or professional body governing their occupation. Is that correct, Vesma?
Yes, correct. And for example, in Ontario, you need to pass by PEBC. That's the accreditation body in Ontario for pharmacists.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come as permanent resident. For example, for myself, I came here and I started working as customer service representative. I wasn't allowed to practice as a pharmacist. So if I need to use my diploma from my background, from my country, so I just need to have the PEBC exam and be accredited or allowed to practice as pharmacist in Ontario. This is just to make sure that we are aligned with their laws, etc.
Okay, wonderful. This is good. Let's take another question from Dr. Imran Malik. Is there any option with investment? So yes, Canada offers a few options for entrepreneurs, and there is an investor program as well. The investor program is on hold at the moment. It's called Quebec Investor Program. But there are several entrepreneurs programs that are administered by provinces. We have Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, you name it. All the provinces, most of the provinces have their own entrepreneur programs. The entrepreneur programs would want you to come to Canada and establish a business. And before doing that, you have to prove that you have business management experience, you have required net worth, which is usually in the vicinity of 5,000-6,000 Canadian dollars, and you are required to establish a business within 24 months of your arrival here. In those 24 months, you are expected to establish the business, a proposal of which you produce before submitting the application. And once you are successful in establishing the business, and the usual investment required is in the vicinity of $200,000 to $300,000, and you hire at least one or two Canadians, then the province nominates you for permanent residence. So there are several options available. If you'd be interested in exploring those options, you can get in touch with our team. We have an assessment form for business and entrepreneur applicants. You can complete that and we can determine your eligibility. Let's moving on to next question. Taha is saying, are you taking the case and application procedure of the Canadian immigration team on the client behalf, and there is any chance of getting the immigration in electrical engineering occupation? So I don't really fully understand the question. We do retain clients, and they become our clients basically, and then we assist them. And electrical engineers, electronics engineers, engineers in all technologies that are being considered by Canadian government. So you can get in touch with our team and we can determine your eligibility and see if we are in a position to assist you, and where do you stand in terms of points, the ranking points, and which province, if you're depending on the provincial nomination, which province would you be fitting in. There's another question from Tariq Ali. He is in Dubai for the last 22 years. He is 50 years of age and he has kids. His elder son is 22. In Charles Medical College in Prague. The rest of kids are with him in Dubai. What is the way forward? Because kids, they did not agree to go back to Pakistan. Need your valuable advice. So Tariq, your age is 50. So basically, this is where your drawback is. You're losing a lot of points in the age factor. We need to see what your background is. If you are a business person or a senior manager, you might qualify under the entrepreneur program. There could be ways where you could, consider maybe sending your eldest kid to Canada to complete a degree, because there are a lot of international students who come here. They become a permanent resident if they want to at the end of their studies, and then they can sponsor their parents as well. And I mean, if you are a salaried employee and you're not a senior manager, you don't have the required net worth, you won't qualify under the entrepreneur program. And in the skilled worker program, I can see that you're losing significant points in the age factor. So it would be a tough ask. It would be difficult for you to qualify. But provide us further details by way of our assessment form on our website, www.amirismail.com. We'll be able to help you. The question coming in from Dr. Imtiaz Ali, that his NOC is 2175, but he has experience of 2173, 2174 as well. But I'm a little confused with that, which one I should mention in my CV. Okay, so this is where the deal becomes very, very sensitive in terms of dealing with the visa officer, because this is the most important area the officer looks at if the applicant has made an error choosing the correct NOC or not. And sometimes there is no error in choosing the NOC, but the job description provided by the applicant is not matching or is falling short of the definition of the occupation you have chosen. So be very careful right there. If you'd be interested in seeking the advice of our team, we offer a one-on-one consultation as well. The link is on our website. Or if you need to retain us for the purpose of guiding you properly, you can do so. But this is very common that there are people who are qualifying in one NOC, but they also seem to qualify in another, and they then get confused. So better choose the best one that reflects your actual job duties and that you can back up with the help of your employer's reference letter. Question coming in from Abdullah Chaudhry. He says, is it viable to go for Canadian immigration for doctors working in Pakistan set up through an SOCE? I can't pronounce that, or come directly as permanent resident and then go through that exam. So I'm actually very truly not familiar with this term, but most of the clients, doctors that we deal with, they come directly as permanent resident and then they go for exam. It's a tough route, of course, and you might be already aware about that. But those that we have dealt in for the past 30 years, there are those doctors who have come here and have went ahead with their licensing exams. Okay, so we're getting a lot of questions right now. So let's try to address a few more before we call off. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send it to us. We're going to show it on the screen. Question from Farman Beg Says he's working as senior quality engineer in MEP construction industry in Dubai. Does he need to get any license? Does Dubai working experience work for job searching in Canada or get any license? So for the purpose of licensing, for the purpose of immigration, you don't need any license. For the purpose of job search, you can do your job search, and your Dubai experience would be valuable. I am not very hopeful that you're going to get the job offer directly from an employer based here in Canada. If you're seeking a job, you should work with a licensed recruiter. And bear in mind that no one is allowed to charge you any money if they are offering you or assisting you in getting the job offer. Not your employer, not your licensed recruiter, and not even your immigration consultant. But in terms of immigration, yes, if you are seeking assistance in immigration, you can always get in touch with us. But the answer to your question is that you do not require license to get immigration. For working in Canada, you do need a license, because when you arrive here in Canada as an immigrant, you are not allowed to work without that license. Another question from Mar: what option you will suggest for study after pharmacy, MBA, MP, or bioinformatics, or you prefer any postgraduate diploma? So this is a very relevant question that maybe Besma would be able to answer. Let's see if she's available.
Yes, so it will depend on your goal or career focuses. So if you prefer to practice as a pharmacist, so like Mr. Amir advised, it's better to take the time to prepare for your exam and get your licensing exam. If you don't mind like being related to the pharmacy field but work as something in administration, like MBA guy or something, you can like apply for MBA school and get enrolled there, etc. But you need to know that even if you get like medical MBA, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to work or practice as a pharmacist, because there are two different things. You will be like allowed to work as a pharmacy MBA in a field or with restrictions related to that position.
Okay, great. A good piece of advice, Besma. Thank you. Tariq Ali, thanks for asking the question, Tariq. Okay, so let's move on to another question. Let's see if I can answer a few more. Daniel Zia is saying he is an ACCA member having work experience of more than 7 years, and his age is 29 and soon going to be married. He's seeking advice if he should apply now or after marriage collectively, and any specific province for accountant and tax professional. So that Daniel, it doesn't matter, because if you apply now, you'll be adding the spouse later on, right? So I think it is a good idea to apply now, because when you're in the pool, then only you are in picture. If you're waiting for your marriage and then apply those weeks or months in between, you are losing your chance of being considered by a province or even the federal government for the federal skilled worker draws. You can add your spouse anytime. You can update your marital status anytime, right? So maybe it's a good idea not to wait and create your express entry profile and be available for selection. And then, of course, you can add your spouse later on as well. Any specific province for accountant and tax professional, we have seen that accounting professionals are considered very actively by all the provinces, including Alberta and Ontario. The recent draw that happened a week ago by Ontario, it targeted many occupations. There were 10 of them, and auditors and accountants were one of them. Basma, were you following that PNP draw as well?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that is why I'm saying that the accounting professional, they are in demand all over.
Right.
And you should consider applying. Hassan Shai is saying, when will travel restriction be lifted? Okay, it's $1 million question. We really don't know, because it all depends how people behave. Canadians have proven to be very well behaved, and they are restricting themselves to their homes. They are limiting their social gatherings, and there is a travel restriction in place to control the virus. In the meantime, the government is working to streamline the vaccination. So hopefully, in next few months, we are going to see a relaxation in travel restriction. I personally don't believe that's going to happen before September, but let's see what happens. Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. Farman Beg is asking, adding to my question, my wife planning for PhD in economics, having an MS or MPhil from IBA Karachi. So I actually lost track of your previous question, Farman, but it's a good news that, yeah. So yes, you asked about the licensing requirement, right, in from Dubai. So it's a good thing that your wife is planning for PhD, but that is going to happen sometimes in future. But she already has an MS or MPhil from IBA Karachi, right? So that is a good qualification. If she does have work experience, she might qualify in her own right. And it happens all the time that we are approached by uh, couples who are both qualified, who both work in two different occupations, and they have different kind of points even at the end of the day, because their age is different, their educational qualifications are different, their language skills are different. So they both qualify in their own rights, but we then determine as to who should be the principal applicant, or we sometimes recommend them that you both should create your own profile, so that you maximize your chances of being selected by the provinces, because provinces usually depend their decisions on occupations. So it's a good idea to have two profiles.
And they always have the option to sponsor the other.
Oh,
Yeah, sponsorship. Yeah.
sponsorship, yeah. So in that case, it's a very interesting thing that when you are married and if you are marking your spouse to accompany you, you lose points on the grid. Sometimes it's so crucial that those 2, 3, 4 points, that sometimes applicants, they do not include their spouses, they proceed to Canada alone, and then they sponsor their spouses later on, because they believe that if they're gonna include the spouse, they're gonna lose points, and it's not gonna happen. There will be no invitation in the near foreseeable future. So they exclude the spouse and then they migrate. But it's a bit of a hassle, of course, but at least one of them gets immigration, and then that person can sponsor the spouse. Next question is from Ibrahim. He says, "Dear sir, kindly advise me if advise me. I'm interested for applying immigration. He has experience in facility management and maintenance, and he's right now working KSA." So Ibrahim, whenever someone approaches us, we advise them to provide full details about their age, educational qualification, language skills, their spouses, language skills, qualifications, presence of a relative in Canada, other details about their previous applications, any refusals, background checks, and everything. So you can provide us that information by way of our assessment form. We can complete an assessment within 2 business days. It is a free assessment without any obligation to you. So feel free to benefit from that. And I personally make those assessments. We're going to get back to you with our opinion, whether you're qualifying or not. Okay. Question is coming from Atiullah Khan. He has an MBA degree from Pakistan and banking experience for approximately 13 plus years. Is there any opportunity? If you're asking about opportunity for immigration to Canada, we can determine that. As I said earlier, you can complete our form. I can let you know. Nusrat Hussain saying, what are the opportunities for a person having 44 years of age? Well, there are a lot of opportunities, right? Because you are 44, you're not old. You made a point, because I think you understand you're losing a lot of points in the age factor, which is unfortunate, because ever since this new system was introduced, they started making 44 years age people as they are very old, which is not the case, right? It is the prime age when you are earning good money, have good experience, you have set aside some money to bring to Canada. But unfortunately, it is also the fact that you lose points in the age factor. And people who are 44 years of age, they usually don't make the required ranking score that is suitable for selection under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You might qualify under one of the provincial programs if your occupation is in demand in one of those provinces. It is still not a guarantee, and provinces also require you to enter the express entry pool. So you need to score 67 points to enter the pool. So if you're losing significant number of points and you start losing points on the 67 points grade after the age of 35, so as you turn 36, you start losing 1 point. So by the time you're 47, you have lost all your 12 points. So we need to see where do you stand in terms of those points, and you might stand a chance. If there's a little bit of chance, even in a provincial nominee program, maybe it's a good idea to give it a go, and give it a shot, and we'll see. Okay, so I hope that I answer your question. Let's take another one. So we are getting closer to our closing time, but we'll try to answer as many questions as we could. I can see that there are several others pending an answer. Let's see if we could attend a few of those. Amar is saying he's preparing for express entry exam in January, EE exam, or is it IELTS exam in January 2022. But his question is, which one is most likely to get chance administration admission? MBA MPS percentage of my pharmacy is 64% all.
He's talking about the evaluating exam in pharmacy.
Pharmacy exam.
Okay. Yeah, the
It's
first part of the exam. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Basma. I think you can attend to this question.
So I need to read the question again. So yes, I'm preparing for EE exam in January 2021, but my question was which one is most likely to get chances for admission? MBA, MPA, or percentage of my pharmacy is 60. Okay, so for the MBA and MPA, the requirements depends on the school you are attending or you want to enroll in. So just make sure that you go on their website and check for the requirements. Maybe they won't even require for an EE exam. It will depend on your experience, your diploma, where you're from, the number of years you have worked, in which fields, etc. So just make sure that the EE exam or the evaluating exam result is required, or else you don't have to pass it. Okay. Just make sure that you read carefully the requirements for your MBA admission. This is my advice.
Okay, good piece of advice, Basma, once again. Okay, so we have Ijaz Sheikh is asking, does real estate considered is it considered under entrepreneur category? So Ijaz Sahab, thank you first of all for joining us. It's a pleasure seeing you. Secondly, when it comes to calculating the net worth of the entrepreneur, real estate is indeed considered. In fact, real estate make up most of the entrepreneur's net worth. So if you're considering applying under an entrepreneur program, and if the requirement is that of a net worth of, say, $600,000, and all of it is in the entrepreneur, is in the real estate shape or form, it will be considered. Some programs have a special instructions that you need to have a certain amount of liquidity, because they don't want to take a chance on someone who has all his monies tied into fixed assets, and the person will not be able to liquidate it in time, because you have a specific amount of time provided in order to establish a business in Canada. So yeah, but most of the program, they would accept real estate toward your net worth. Farman is adding to his follow-up question that wife is actually a lecturer in university, and her age is 35. So she seems to be a very good candidate, because she's not losing any points. From the ranking point of view, of course, she's losing points. Everyone loses points after the age of 30, but she's a good candidate. Okay, Sam is saying, can you tell us about C11 work permit? Sam, please send us an email. We'll discuss this. Work permit is usually not my favorite topic. You require a job offer from Canada, and the next question usually people ask, do you arrange jobs? And my answer is no. We are not authorized to. We are not. We cannot arrange you a job. Okay. Nusrat is saying, I think it's a follow-up question, so I'll just move forward. Nusrat, please get in touch with us directly on our email address or phone number. We have our WhatsApp number as well. You can try that as well. I'm going to show you the slide at the end of this presentation. Okay, Ibrahim is saying he's going to send you the assessment form. Thank you very much. Amar is again providing us further information. Can he apply for PhD rather than master? So you need to get in touch with the institute.
Exactly, the university directly. You need to check their website.
Exactly. So
because
very nice
for
to hear that.
for a few masters or degrees in pharmacy, you don't have to pass the evaluating exam or the PEBC exam. So just make sure that you are aware of the requirements.
Okay, good. This is good. Hasib Urshid is saying, how much time will it take for him to come to Canada when spouse living in Canada apply for you? So the processing time, the usual processing time is 12 months. But due to pandemic, the IRCC is working at a very limited capacity, and we have seen that there have been significant delays. Now, the government of Canada has committed a lot of processing officers, and they have they have indicated that they are going to improve the quality of their processing, so we can see further improvements. But right now, as the website says, 12 months, but in my point of view, it is actually close to 24 months. So you can make up your mind accordingly. This is the follow-up by Dr. Imtiaz, I guess. So we have attended to his question. And he's saying he's 38 years of age, and which program is suitable for me, PNP or EE? So there is a misconception amongst applicants. They think that the PNP and EE are two different programs. EE is not a program. It is only a file management system. It's a system which is used by the Canadian government to manage the files or programs. PNP is a nomination on which you get 600 extra points. Everyone has to create an express entry profile to show their expression of interest. So if you are targeting PNP programs to get those 600 extra points, you still have to create an express entry profile, right? So it's not something exclusive. You have to create the express entry profile.
Correct.
Exactly. Okay. Let's see another question. Abrar Sheikh is asking, he's 32, MBA from Malaysia, 7 years working experience. NOC is 6313, tourism hospitality, CLB 7, suitable EE or PNP program according to my profile. Get in touch with us, Abrar. You seem to be a very well-informed client who has researched his NOC, knows about CLB system. So you might have done your own research, and combined with our own expertise, we can mutually work together finding a suitable PNP program for you. So if you have not already done so, provide us your details by way of our assessment form. The team is going to get in touch with us. They're going to coordinate a one-on-one consultation with me personally, directly from Toronto with you, and we'll take it from there. Sana is asking, will the score of S&P decrease to 67 this year? And NOC is in demand, age is 39, ECS masters. Sana, it's just very difficult to say if it's going to be decreased, because the provinces do not disclose the composition of their pools, right? So we don't know if they're going to be decreasing it. If they run out of candidates who are above 66, so they will definitely decrease it to 66. So we'll see. Business or investor program. So as I explained earlier, it is for people who have business ownership experience. They have the required net worth, and they are willing to start a business in Canada. So if you do have business ownership experience in your home country, and you've been running a business successfully, and you are in a position to provide a proposal that you will be able to come to Canada and establish a business in this country within the specified time, then you might qualify. We do have information on our website, and there is an assessment form for business assessments. Feel free to complete it, and our team is going to make an assessment, let you know whether you qualify under one of the business programs or not. Okay. What is your recommendation for a 40-year-old lady who has just completed a PhD in pharmacy with a year of experience as a university professor? Now, Bisma, I think there are a lot of pharmacists joining us today. I don't know, they got a feeling that we have
we have so many teammates today.
Exactly.
So you have already explained that. So there is the age factor, 40 years old. She already has a PhD, so she can get points for the PhD in pharmacy. But like you have already explained, she can come as a permanent resident, then pass the required exams for that by the eligible or the accreditation bodies needed for her specialty.
Okay, wonderful. Sheikh says, thank you. Welcome, Jasab. Farman, thank you. Nusrat saying, thank you. You're welcome. Let's see, we can see a few more questions. We are hitting the 1 hour marks, 5 minutes from now. So we're going to be closing it soon. Let's take a couple of more questions. Naim Saab is saying him and his brother own an engineering contracting firm. Is it possible for entrepreneur any sort of investment visa? So yes, Canada has a number of entrepreneur options, and they are always looking for, and especially the provinces are always looking for qualified entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs who can come to Canada, establish their own businesses, and employ people, generate economic activities. They're always welcome. So we'll make an assessment of your eligibility. We'll see what is your net worth and what proposal are you putting forward in order to establish a business. There are some programs where you can bring a key staff member with you as well. So if you're coming to Canada to establish a business, a key staff member from your business in your home country can also join you, and they both can migrate. You both can migrate. So we can look into those options. Get in touch with our team. We'll be happy to assist you. Prime is saying he has 12 years experience in FM and maintenance in KSA, and graduation 14 years, qualification BTech, age is 38. So if your graduation is BTech, 14 years of graduation, and if you have done it after a diploma, which usually is a diploma of engineering, 3 years, maybe the total number of years of education that is required for your degree be recognized as a bachelor's degree would be met. We'll see your details and we'll make an assessment. Get in touch with our team. Saad is saying that Saad Kamran is saying he's Daniel Farman from Karachi has done BCom and will soon be doing his diploma in mechanical technology this year. So he's asking what are doing more for Canada. So what he needs to do more. So you've done BCom, and if your diploma in mechanical technology, if it is a recognized diploma, and if you do have work experience, we can see whether you are qualifying in one of the programs. Get in touch with our team, and we'll be happy to assist you. And one more question coming from Asif Anwar. He was unable to return to Canada because of pandemic, and now his 5 years PR is close to expiration and will not be able to complete 2 years inside Canada to get it renewed. Can I renew my PR in this case now? So Asif, matters like these that involve residency obligation, we usually provide advice through one-on-one consultations. We can do that, but I can tell you for now that PRs are PR card cannot be applied from outside Canada. You have to come to Canada to apply for it. And so look into the possibility of coming back to Canada by way of a TR, the travel document, and you'll be able to then travel to Canada and apply. But when you apply for TRPDD, the travel document for the permanent residents, you will be asked the question as to why were you not able to return to Canada, and that is where you are going to explain the reasons behind your inability to return to Canada. You can get in touch with our team, and we'll be able to assist you in putting forward an application with the required arguments as to the circumstances that precluded you from returning to Canada. Okay, so let's take one last question, and then we'll bid goodbye to you guys, and then we'll try to answer all those pending questions that we've not been able to answer. Let's take this question from Naim Khan. He's saying that spouse is 33, MBBS, 3 years experience, and ECA has been done for medical council. Any chance in SINP or PNP? So if you look at the profession, doctors, they are usually not considered in provincial program because of the requirement of licensing, but looks like that she has got very good profile. for consideration directly if she improves her language score. I'm kind of saying thank you for the input. Thank you very much for joining us today. One last question, and that is going to be the last question. Ibral Hakdar is saying, is procurement category allowed to apply for a PR? So if you, Ibrar, it's a very good question, because a lot of people, they get confused about the occupation. So when with the introduction of the express entry file management system in 2015, January 2015, before that, we always used to have an occupation in demand list for Canada's federal skilled worker program. But then the Canadian government realized that since they are sticking to an occupation list that gets outdated as well, and it actually used to encourage people to modify their CV if they never used to find their occupation listed, and that in that occupation list they used to, or they get encouragement to change their CV or change their profession just to be able to get Canadian immigration. So what they did was they removed the occupation list, and they put the focus on other factors that matter more. For example, age, younger applicants, language skills, work experience, and the skills of spouse and adaptability factors. So there is no occupation list. Yes, you need to be having experience in a National Occupation Classification O, which is management occupation A and B. So yes, procurement category is allowed. So good news for you, right? So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. I would like to thank Besma for joining us today as well, for wonderful presentation and her input.
My pleasure, Mr. Amir. Thank you so much for having me today.
Wonderful. And feel free to send us email or leave your comments. And if you'd like to get in touch with our team, I'm going to show you the slide for our contact information right now. So you can get in touch with our team. I'm just going to remove this comment. So the information is available on our website as well, www.amirismail.com, or you can have a look at this slide. And we are available on our WhatsApp as well, and we are live from Toronto every Saturday, usually around 11 a.m. EST. But if there are any changes, we usually inform our spectators or audience in advance. So thank you very much for joining us today. Until then, it's goodbye from us in Toronto.
Thank you, everyone.